Roll up, roll up, roll up. There is none like the fun. It's all there, Barnet Fair.
Waiting, set up your tents, your stalls, your what's-nots. It is now the early 1880s. and London is bustling amidst the glorious smells of progress. Fresh smog and sewage-infested water. Some things never change, eh? A few of the people you were about to meet were, in fact, real. We did take a few creative liberties with their tales, but, well, why not? We are now in the rather fancy hallway of Edward and Charlotte Hyde, Chipping Barnet, Hertfordshire. These two became famed philanthropists, known for the Hyde Institute, a literary programme promoting free education and literacy to all. Hardly something you could argue with. Now, or then.
Here I am. The menu.
No, Mrs. Brown. The menu needs to be much simpler. Nothing too fanciful, and certainly no alcohol.
Quite right. No alcohol for the booze. No wine with the meal or dessert.
General Booth and his wife Maud are leaders in the temperance movement, Mrs. Brown.
It's all really catching on. Talk of the town, all this abstinence.
They have forsworn alcohol for a more godly life. They are a great example to follow, Mrs. Brown.
So just the port after dinner then?
No, Mrs. Brown. Well, just lemon water, I suppose.
Sir, it's such a shame. What with you having one of the best sellers in High Barnet? What will become of all those bottles?
Don't you worry about that, Mrs. Brown. I'm the only person who has the key, and I'll go down there every now and then to make sure all is well.
Oh, Lizzie, I just want you to practice your piano piece for the booths on Saturday.
No, Mama, I don't know why you keep asking me. It's so pretentious.
Well, where are you going?
To meet Alice by the new water fountain in Hadley Green. I told you this.
Brush your hair.
Yes, well, she will be back, won't she?
Oh, yes, Edward, of course she will. Lizzie, Elizabeth is loud and opinionated, but she is our lovely daughter and she never let you down.
Yes, well, quite. Charlotte, my dear, could I please ask you to explain to Mrs. Brown what is required and what is not required for the meal with the Booths? I shall be in my study. I'll leave the rest of the details to you.
Oh, Nellie, I do love that girl, but sometimes she
Just
is...
like you, madam.
Oh, now let me see. Now, Edward tells me that William and Maud Booth have very simple tastes, so, in other words, keep it boiled and bland and no cooking with wine. They eat like sparrows, so don't bother making too much. Don't we have any simple recipes? What about quail's eggs? Edward does love his beef, but we will need a suitable dessert.
Where's my hat? Where's my hat?
We don't have much time to go over the menu, madam. Or get this dress finished. Whatever you say, it's a big dinner with General Booth and his wife, and what with them being of the temperance persuasion, I don't want to give them anything that might cause offence.
Offence? Nellie, you couldn't cause offence unless you sent the servants in there reeling drunk and dancing a jig. And even then, you'd probably only offend Edward. I hear General Booth can be quite good company if you like temperance songs.
Madam, you are a one.
After all these years, Nellie, I still can't get used to you calling me Madam. I wish you'd call me Charlotte, or even plain Lottie.
We have to keep up standards, madam, even if you don't think that you are the lady of the house and a person of standing. When you married Master Edward, you knew well what it would mean and what you were doing.
And I knew what I had to do.
Well, that's another story. And so long ago now, some 16 years and some. Elizabeth was such a beauty.
Oh, she is such a joy to us, to the whole household.
Kitty, where are my shoes?
She will have a wonderful future, and my greatest wish for her is that she have a happy marriage, one that she chooses freely.
Madam, even after all these years, no one doubts that you and the master both may do good marriage, no matter the circumstances.
Nellie, You have been such a good friend to me over the years and such a keeper of secrets. I don't know what I would have done if I hadn't had you to talk to.
You were badly done by, not the first nor the last by any means. And how could I see poor Enid Sharp's daughter in a fix?
Well, I do know that Edward does love me, in his fashion, but so it wasn't such a difficult choice, just not the one I wanted to make.
Your mother and father were such a help to us. So often your father would give us coal on tick. Now that's a real gentleman, and I know how much you'd use your position to help my Susan and my Frank and others in this town.
Well, what else should my father have done? A coal merchant without a heart won't have many customers when times are good, and he can't help out when times are hard. And as for him being called a real gentleman, Nelly, well, he's not really like Edward. We were sort of in the middle, I suppose.
You lie it! You lie it!
And Kitty, carry on when they're upstairs. Have you both lost your senses?
Oh, sorry, Mrs. Brown. Sorry, ma'am. We didn't mean to disturb you.
She says I can't go because it's not my afternoon off, and I always go every year. Last year my Henry was laid up with the cholera, so I nearly lost him, I did, so I couldn't go then, could I? Go where, Kitty?
She means the fair, ma'am. Next weekend. It's the biggest one yet, they say. My Jim's promised to take me to it. He needs a tooth pulling, and I want to see the shows. Kitty and me can't both go, can we? I tried telling her I did. She started screeching and blubbering.
Well, I'm afraid you may both be disappointed. Mr. Hyde is currently at this very moment deciding whether anyone from this house should visit the fair.
What?
He believes it is an unchristian pastime, full of temptations, luring good folk to do ungodly acts.
Well, that's enough, you two. You've been told now by Mrs. Hyde, and you should be grateful she doesn't send you both packing. Making a scene upstairs and all. Now, Etta, I shall need you to go to market tomorrow morning sharpish. We have very important guests arriving on Saturday. And wipe that sulk off your chops. Your Jim don't need you to hold his hand while he has his tooth pulled. He's 33. Oh, I am mortified, ma'am. That fair makes the whole town go too loud. Oh, will I be making my treacle tart for dessert now? Or perhaps a trifle? Oh, no, sherry. Let me know what you think the boots might enjoy.
Oh, yes, Nelly, very good. Trifle.
No, I don't think God's own general will think much of my manzanilla soaked sponges.
They're coming! They're coming! They're setting up camp! Oh, it looks beautiful and exciting and dangerous. I've heard there's going to be lions and tigers this time.
Well, not more of this, Kitty. Control yourself in front of Madam. She'll think you've lost what little sense you have.
They're all coming from St Albans Road, setting up tents and stalls and horses, and all the people singing and dancing and talking in funny languages. Some of them look ever so strange. There are big posters of Tom Sayers the boxer. He's come all the way from America. He's ever so big and strong and still so good looking, even though he must be an old man now.
Tom Sayers, the boxer, he's back in Barnet.
Yes, he's been in America and all, everywhere. Wonder if he's brought a woman back with him. Someone excited.
The fair is nothing to get so excited about. Just a gaggle of horse sellers and a few rogues willing to make money from those simple enough to part
What
with.
is all this noise about? I can hear the hullabaloo in my study. Have animals escaped from the zoological gardens?
Sorry, sir. Sorry, ma'am. We were just so happy to see him coming up from Hadley Way. Everybody is.
Then you are going to be disappointed. My husband has taken against the fair this year, haven't you, Edward?
I have? I have.
He follows General Booth's message of temperance.
What? We can't go, even on our day off?
That's enough, you two. You've been told now. Those are the rules. Now be off with you before Madam sends you packing.
Now, Nelly, don't be too hard on them. I know this news will be upsetting to the whole household. Even Lizzie will stop speaking to me, and you know, Edward, she will beg me to try to change your mind, but I'm now more convinced than ever that you are right. No one from this household should attend the fair.
Well, if you say so, my dear, then so be it. I shall return to my study now the noise has abated somewhat.
Right you are, sir. Madam.
Lily, you have your instructions. I'll let you get on with it. Please just don't let the maids make such a disturbance again.
Oh, hush up, girls. There'll be other fairs to come. The temperance movement, it's just another fashion for the well-to-do to bang on about. It will pass, and you'll be back jigging at the fairs again. Just not this year.
I know why she hates the fair so much. She didn't always. I heard from Emmy Baker she used to go regular as a young girl, and she didn't hold back on enjoying herself, Emmy says.
Kitty Huggins, never you mind any tittle-tattle about what Madam did or didn't do.
They say she had a sweetheart at the fair.
Who told you that?
I can't remember.
What did they say? Did they say a name?
No one knows who it was, but they all think she did. I bet that's why she hates it now.
Stuff and nonsense. I should leave the storytelling up to the likes of Mr. Dickens and get on with making up the 7 fireplaces still standing empty. Go on, no slacking.
That's impailing us from having fun. She may be lady of this house now, but she wasn't when she first came here.
Mr. Hyde married her pretty sharpish after his first wife died. Now she was a real lady.
Last night I lay dreaming of pleasant days gone by. My mind been bent a rambling, to Barnet I did fly. I stepped on board a vision and followed with my will, till at last I came to anchor at the crossroads Barnet Hill. Delighted by the novelty, enchanted with the scene, where in my early boyhood, where often I had been, I thought I heard a rumbling, I think I hear it still. Is the stream of jovial people that flows down Barnet Hill? It was September 23rd, the day of the fair. For white-walled sons and daughters in crowds assembled there. The young, the old, the brave and the bold, they came for the sport and thrill. There were jovial conversations at the crossroads Barnet Hill. I paid a flying visit to my first and only love. She's pure as any lily and gentle as a dove. She threw her arms around me, saying, "Johnny, I love you still." She is belle with fairest beauty and the pride of Barnet Hill. I trembled, stopped and kissed her as in the days of yore. She said, "Johnny, you're only joking, as many the time before." The cock crew in the morning, he crew both loud and shrill. And I woke in California, many miles from Barnet Hill.
Mr. Sayers! Welcome back to Barnet. It's been a good 10 years or more. I'm thinking you've been off making your fortune in America.
15 years, 7 months and 4 days, Mr. Kemp. Did you miss me?
We did indeed, Tom, we did indeed. I said the boxing folk, the fair folk, the lady folk, and let's not forget the good General himself. General Booth will be working on a new sermon as we speak with your name on it. The evils of boxing, gambling, drinking and anything else Tom Sayers does in Barnet. So, how did you like arriving by steam engine then? The marvels of progress. Now, I want to hear all about America. Is it true the eye patches slice the top of your head off if you cross them? And are there really lulas on every street?
Yes, and sometimes. I'll paint you a picture over dinner this evening. First, I need to find myself a decent, affordable room. Are we all good on the ring? Did I get the pitch ice?
Are you right, Tom? You must be nagging after your travels. Look, the pitch is secure, everything is in order, because you paid up nice and early. You know, since Monday, your return has been in all the dailies. The toffs are dying to see you fight again. You sure you won't step back into the ring one more time? You make a bleeding killing.
That's what I'm afraid of, William. I've had too many blows to me head. I'm seeing stars most days. No, I'm the boss now, running my own ring. You'll see, the folks will still come. I have some of the best fighters in the world working for me. Does the Red Lion still rent rooms? I heard half the inns and hotels are closed for good.
It does, but you heard right. The hotels, the inns, even the little show halfpenny parlours, they've all been hit by the steam trains. Nowadays, people want to get to where they want to get to in double quick time. I mean, who would spend 2 days in a carriage when you get there in 3 hours by train?
Is John the Barber still in High Street? I need to get me Barnet cut. No carriages, no lodgings, no hotels. If that's what they call progress, they can shove out their arse and whistle.
It's the modern way, Tom. Steam engines have changed our lives forever, I'm thinking. You know, the locals can get into London in under an hour. The seaside in 2. It's magic. High Barnet ain't no Regent Street. My missus, bless her, goes into London just to buy a pack of tea from Fortnum and Bleeding Mason instead of the local store. Oh well, shall we head over the line then?
Is she still here, Will? Did she stay? Did she...
Mr. Sayers, is it true you fought a bear in Canada with nothing but your own fist?
And is it true that 10 or more ladies fainted in New York in your fight with Fireman Jim Flynn?
And can you still run up Barnet Hill carrying 2 ladies and a bucket of beer?
What do you bloody think?
Smile!
Tom Sayers was a famous bare-knuckle pugilist who hardly recognised the taste of defeat. His single loss was at the hands of Nat Langham, England's middleweight champion, when one of his seconds threw in the sponge after over 60 rounds of fighting. Tom here refused to quit, even when blinded by his own bruising eyes. His friend here, William Kemp, the new landowner for the Barnet Market site, St Albans Road. Tom, meanwhile, always drew a big crowd, even from beyond the grave. On the day of his funeral, the House of Commons was forced into recess when the onlookers grew to over 100,000. An extravaganza the Spectator titled An Almighty Ruckus Stretching Over 2 miles long. If you go to Highgate Cemetery today, you'll find his lonely tomb beside a loyal little dog named Lion, still waiting for his master.
Oranges, lovely juicy oranges. Come and buy the oranges.
Oh, Mary, the
this London's a wonderful sight, with people here working by day and by night. They don't plant potatoes, nor barley, nor wheat, but there's gangs of them digging for gold in the street. At least when I asked them, that's what I was told. So I just took a hand at this digging for gold. But for all that I found there, I might as well be where the mountains of morn sweep down to the sea.
Well now, I live by selling this fruit. I always work the Barnet Fair, and I catch up on the news from home. There's many comes here after the Barnet Fair, and though I'm from County Cork, Ballin's always closely looked at home. It's a poor living when I see how others live, truth be told, but it's thankful I am to be able to live at all. I was born in County Cork. My father and mother and us 8 children, God bless us all. We were turned out of our home. We had a bit of thatch for a house. We couldn't pay the rent, so we was evicted and turned out on the road to face the weather. I don't know how old I am. All I do know is that only my 2 brothers and I are alive today. Back then, we borrowed the fare for a cattle boat to England from the priest, God bless him, after all but us 3 had died, with no roof and only the ditch for a bed.
I seen England's king from the top of a bus. I didn't know him, though he means to know us. And though by the Saxons we once were oppressed, well, I cheered, God forgive me, I cheered with the rest. And now that he's visited and been shot, we'll be much better friends than we've been heretofore. When we've got all we want, we're as quiet as can be, where the mountains of morn sweep down to the sea.
Me brothers got the learning, not us girlings. I would listen to what they said, but the words would keep moving across the page when I picked up a book. And maths was no good neither. Sure, back home it's in Latin, and only them was had good schooling and money to read that. It's as though God is too good for the likes of us. Me brothers are the aristocracy of us street sellers. I can only sell me oranges and plums when it's the season. My brothers can sell their wares all year round. Words, yes, they sell words. Michael can recite the last words of anyone famous, and not so. Last week he was asked to present what the last words were of some poor fella's mammy who died in the clinic in Lancaster. My other brother Brian, now he's a fan of Mr. Shakespeare, no less, and he can recite a whole heap of words from Hamlet, Othello, Henry the something or other, and begging your pardons, the Scottish play.
There's beautiful girls here, and never you mind. Beautiful shapes nature never designed, and beautiful complexions of roses and cream. But let me remark with regard to the same, that if from those roses you venture to sing, then colour might just come away on your name. So I'll wait for the wild rose that's waiting for me, where the mountains of morn sweep down to the sea.
Oranges, glory
Black 47 was the Great Hunger in Ireland. A famine had ravaged the land for over a decade. 1 million starved to death. 2 million fled the country from packet ships and steamboats, halving the population. The cause? Single crop dependency, potato blight, absentee landlords, enforced evictions, and all whilst the English Whig government accused the Irish of lacking in moral character rather than food. Thank God we don't do that anymore, huh? In 1862, Mr. Henry Mayhew, my boss, published The London Labour and the London Poor, a riveting journey into the impoverished majority of our capital. All researched and edited by his team of devoted but lowly paid investigators. Yours truly, pardon me. This concluded that homelessness was most common amongst the factory workers. 1 in 3 had no home to go back to after a hard day's work. At the other end of the scale was the musician, 1 in over 730. Yay! Take note, ministers of education. Now, let us get back to our story as we travel to the Leisure Palace. Jack and Jim are 2 families, and their guardian, Mark Leisure, has pitched their palace in the heart of Barnet Fair.
Speak the speech as I pronounced it to you, trippingly on the tongue. But if you do mouth it as many of our players do, I had as lief the town crier spoke my lines. Well, do not soil the air too much with your hands, thus by usual gently. For in the very torrent, tempest, and, as I may say, whirlwind of your passion, you must acquire and beget a temperance.
Kilimanjaro, the highest mountain in the whole wide world, and I'll be the first Englishman to climb it. Queen Victoria will lavish me with medals. They'll name a pudding and a park after me. And bloody Meyer, a bleeding German is trying to get there first. He may have all the right equipment and Sherpas, but he'll be missing the vital ingredient of success.
Oh yes, what's that, Jim?
Englishman's blood.
I think you'll find old Vicky, Grandma of Europe, has more German blood than has bloody Meyer. Still, as Ma says, you've got to have a goal. And mine, by the way, is to perfect my hammer speech before cursing up. Bugger off if you can't keep quiet. Oh, it offends me to the soul to hear a robustious periwig-pated fellow tear passion to tatters, to very rags, to pierce the ears of the groundlings, who, for the most part, are capable of nothing but inexplicable dumb shows and noise. I would have such a fellow whipped for odium and termagant, and on Herod's Herod. Pray you avoid it. Be not too tame neither, but let your own discretion be your tutor. To the action, to the word to the action, with a special observance that you overstep not the modesty of nature.
I can always see Egypt first. We've just invaded it after all, bombarded Alexandria and marched on Cairo. Give it a couple months and it'll look like Hampstead High Street. A warm-up. I can see us both, Jack, sipping the local beer around the market square, deciding which of the local bordellos to visit after a giant meal of grilled meats and cheese. I can smell the lemons now. Feel the soft breeze on my cheek.
You'll be feeding Mark's whip on that soft cheek of yours in a minute. Have you put out the signs yet? Arranged the seating? Apologised to the bearded lady for last week? No, I thought not. Well, head's been in the clouds ever since you read that article about Isabella Bird.
It ain't fair. She's been everywhere, Jack. China, Tibet, India, Afghanistan, Kurdistan, Turkey. Bloody woman, with a knackered body and all. And the furthest we've been this year, Scunthorpe.
Mark on to boast no more. You know she sees her breakfast again every time you try to get to Ireland. Clear off, will you? I've only got a couple of hours left till cursing up. For anything so overdone is from the purpose of playing, whose ends, both at first and now, was and is to were to hold a mirror up to nature, to show virtue her own image, scorn her own feature, and the very age and body of time his form and pressure.
are unknowingly good at this pretending malarkey. Henry Irving himself would be green if he saw your Hamlet tonight.
Jim, where's me bloody signs? What are they supposed to sit on the bleeding floor? Oh, pull your finger out there or you'll feel my stick.
You
to me and I won't risk losing her. When he comes to see you, you tell him that I've gone.
Gone? Gone where?
Gone to meet my maker.
But gone? Where? And how?
You will think of something. Cholera, a fire, trampled by horses. God knows there are plenty of ways to meet an early grave nowadays. Promise me, Clementina, you'll tell him that.
Oh, I'll vow, Carriad. Be safe.
Our blacksmith ordered me 9 months and better. He value on my heart, loves me and better. With his hammer in his hand, he looked so clever. And if I were with my love, I would live forever.
The thing is, Ma, you have everything you want, right here. But me, I'm destined to travel, see the world.
Well, if you would so kindly travel down to the gates at the bottom of the hill and plant that sign for me before you embark on your grand tour, I would be extremely content, Jim. I kept you out of the workhouse, found you room for you in your wagon, showed you the sights of town and country. The least you can do is put up a bloody sign for me.
But I know signs and dirt and hammers, Ma. And I'm not complaining about what you've given me. I'm grateful, honest. But there's a whole world out there, and I need to see it.
I think you've got sailor's blood in you, boy.
I don't know who my folks were, Ma. I'm not much bothered either. But since you helped me and Jack read, I've been looking at that same book we found last year after the fire in Covent Garden.
Yeah, Maps of the World, yeah.
Then there's the dailies, full of news of explorers. I wanted to tell you before, Ma. I want to join them, Ma. I'm just itching to go.
You want to change your socks more often, lad. That will stop the itching. You know, before I met Mr. Fortunato, the owner of this wonderful emporium of dreams, I was a simple flower girl, Jim. Selling flowers at the fair, just like me ma did. I sold primroses, violets, wallflowers, stocks. Mainly to the gentlemen, but sometimes the ladies would buy a bunch just out of pity. Oh, you poor dearies, threepence, they'd say. Or sometimes they'd give me the price of 2 for 1. Yeah. Between you and me, I was in and out of clean. One time for throwing my shoe at the Lord Mayor. Time before that, it was for breaking one of them fancy street lamps they have at the bottom of Wood Street by St John's. I did it so I could get a proper kip at night. Otherwise, I left on the bleeding streets. I made £1 a day on the flowers, 5 shillings on me back. Well, you do the sums.
But what about your things? Where did you keep your belongings?
Your belongings? Didn't have nothing, dearie. Not enough to keep in a dolly shop. No, the only valuables I had was under my skirt, and that weren't going to last forever either.
Well, where were your folks when you was in the clinic?
No idea. I think one of them died of cholera, I'm not sure. Funny enough, we're not far from the place of my birth. We was lodging in a tenement down the hill in Tally Ho. They sent me out most nights. I don't think they cared where the rent came from. And by the time I got out of Kling, they was gone. Good riddance, I said.
Tell me again how you met Mr. Fortunato.
Oh, he found me, shivering in the doorway of the Tudor Hall one night after the fair. It was bitter November. He'd just lost his wife, a boy in childbirth. He was heartbroken, he was. Very emotional man, Giuseppe. Italian, through and through. Well, after giving me an hot drink and a blanket, he wrapped me in velvet curtains and let me sleep in the costume basket. Oh, lovely it was, all warm and cosy.
So, is that when he asked you to help him run his place?
No, not quite, no. Well, it's a close run thing when I think about it. I might never have had the life I've had, Jim, all but for one guilty customer. See, next morning, I presented myself down in Finchley to a sort of church council sort of thing. Some people Christian folk who help you say whether they'll help you out or not. Only trouble is, one of them was, well, let's put it like this, he was a regular customer of mine. And after reddening up like a beetroot, he lied. He told them I was a well-known thief. Oh, that put the kibosh on that. I was so angry at his bleeding lies. I was running back up the hill after the fair. The fair was moving on. I couldn't see Mr. Fortunato's wagons. Tears rolling down my face. And then this big airy arm comes out and catches me. Oh, do not cry, little flower girl, he says. If you want to join the fair, I have a job for you. And that was that. We had a proper laugh together, we did. I crossed the seas with Giuseppe. We saw Rome and Paris, so many beautiful places. And he taught me to read and write the show posters. And he knew poems and words. He knew food and wine. He was a lovely man, he was. He never asked nor took anything from me that I didn't want to give him, Jim.
But why can't you go by boat anymore, Mark?
Oh, well. We was doing a stint on a pleasure boat on Lake Como, and we hit another ship, bang! We capsized. Well, I couldn't swim, but somehow I managed to keep afloat till we was rescued, and I never saw what happened to Giuseppe. Last I remember, we were singing, Don't Dilly-Dally. And when I got back to England, I never set foot on water again, no. But he was a clever one, Giuseppe. He did it all right and proper like. He left me the pleasure palace in his will. And I secured all our pictures, and that weren't easy, I can tell you.
I won't forget you and Jack, Mark. When you scooped us up on the moor that night, we were near death's door. Don't worry, Mark. Here, I've saved up all my ale tips, like you said. It's not a fortune, but it'll get me started. I'll write to you about all the places I go to. However I get there, by boat, railway, the new motor carriage with the walking man and the flag. Whatever else gets invented.
Oh, crikey. We can build railways up and down the land, buildings fit for a king. You'd think by the 1880s we'd have found a way to help those that really need it, to put a roof over their heads at night, wouldn't you? Come on, lad, it's nearly showtime. You've got jobs to do, that pose for a start.
Yeah, Mark, do you know where the hammer is?
Well, you should know where the hammer is, lad.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Pleasure Palace is proud to present a lilting lament of love and loss.
I was supposed to. I thought I think.
good people from Barnet and beyond, even as far as Enfield. I must ask you all to suspend your disbelief. A somewhat necessary coping mechanism for living in 2023. Also, I'm told, close your eyes now and imagine, years back, Lottie Sharp, Tom Sayers, in the spring of their youth, enjoying a grand day out at the fair.
Yes, she's gonna win, Tom. Come on, Red Rose. Come on.
Didn't I promise you, Lottie? Today has been the best day of our lives. I win my tournament and get a new promoter who's going to take me places I've only ever dreamed of. And I want to take you with me, Lottie.
Oh, Tommy, you're only joking. You know I can't go anywhere with you. I could hardly get away today. I'm spending all my time with Mrs. Hyde, now that she's so poorly. And my mother and father especially want me to be there. They're so thrilled that a coal merchant's daughter is treated as an equal in a real gentleman's house.
A real gentleman? Your dad might as well be Prince Albert. He's a real gentleman to me. And you, Lottie, are a real lady. Too good for the likes of me.
Oh, come on now, Tommy. You know I don't care about where you come from. My father might be the coal merchant now and have all the big wigs coming to visit, but, well, he knows and they do that if you just took a couple of steps back, why, we'd probably have been working this fair too.
Oh, I'm serious. If I go to America...
Oh, America.
Yes, that's what he said, and it ain't a lie. If I go, I want you to come with me, Lottie. I don't want anybody else.
Oh, Tommy, there's only two places I'm really happy in this world. One of them is in your arms.
And the other place?
Liberties of London, haberdashery department.
You're pulling my leg! Why there of all the shops?
Well, I went there with Mrs. Hyde a few months back. We meant to get the buttons for our winter coat. Oh, Tommy, it was heaven. There were so many buttons and baubles and beads to choose from, I didn't know where to start. In the end, I got a set all the way from Russia. The Tsarina herself has a set that's similar, except hers are in pure gold. Mrs. Hyde said I had a very good eye.
They have shops in America. Bigger. Better than Liberties.
Well, Tommy, if that's the kind of place you're saying we'd go shopping, then...
Lottie, I do love you. You know that. Do you love me?
Oh, hush, Tommy. Mr. Thomas Sayers, champion boxer, king of the world. You know I do.
That night, the two young lovers... Oh dear. Well, I'll leave it up to your imagination. Before he knew it, Tom had already signed his first tour of the brave new world, and it was a whirlwind of a week. So much so that, despite being madly in love, this punch didn't reach him until he had already crossed to the other side of the Atlantic. The realization that he might never see his dear Lottie Sharp again.
Horses and goats, sheep and cattle, dramatic reenactments of battle, purchase of pigs, sale of chattel, all at Barnet Fair. Innuendo, rumours and threats, murder, intrigue, placing of bets, thieving, conniving, fraudulent thefts, all at Barnet Fair. All at Barnet Fair. All at Barnet Fair.
Right, ladies, if we could go to the 10th song on our concert tonight.
Will this be a daily occurrence during the fair?
Well, as Luther says, why should the devil have all the best tunes?
Daily, yes. Hourly if we have the soldiers, but we'll get them though. Oh, recruitment in the well-to-do areas is so slow. If we were in Bermondsey, we'd be swelling the ranks by now.
I understand, Mrs. Booth, that you have recently purchased a house in Hadley Wood, not Bermondsey.
Shall we take our seats, Charlotte? Mrs. Booth, General?
No, William, please call me William, especially if you're thinking of signing on.
Of course, and please do address us as Edward and Charlotte.
All in good time, Mr. Hyde. All in good time. Oh, this is a pleasant dining room. Indeed, you have a very charming, large house, but only one little Hyde to run around it. Why is that, pray tell? God has blessed us with 12 mini-moons, our very own army.
So direct, Lord. Lord, what will people think? You can take a woman out of the country, you can't take the country out.
Very funny, General. Ah, the soup has arrived.
Am I against the drink? No, I'm not against it, not exactly, no. I just think it's against some folks, that's all. My father, I don't like to speak ill of the dead, but you didn't want to go near him when he was half shot. He had the devil on his shoulder at the best of times, but when he had a button in his belly, well, we'd all make ourselves scarce. Except my mother. What was my poor mother to do? Except sit and watch and wait as the brew made his blood start to boil. He didn't hold back neither. He could wallop as good as bloody Tom Sayers. One night, he beat her to within an inch of her life. That was when my big brother stepped in, took a swing at him, knocked him out stone cold. No more top dog in our house. He went off in a sulk, drank himself to death by the end of the year. It was a dry-eyed funeral, I can tell you.
I understand, General, that your army has attracted the attention of the suffragette movement. Do you think...
Monstrous regiment! If God had really meant to create men and women equal, then why did he only bestow on women the miracle of motherhood?
I think you'll find that science has something to do with it, General. Mustard?
Mr. Hyde, do I detect a Darwinist under your roof?
Or perhaps even a fellow traveller with militant foresight.
Charlotte knows her own mind and is well acquainted with the issues, more so than I am. My work takes up most of my time and energy, but I assure you, we are both very comfortable holding our own opinions. That said, I am genuinely interested in your mission of sobriety and the wider welfare implications.
You will be pleased to know, and may be surprised, that we have some very positive channels of communication with the Votes for Women crowd. William, of course, doesn't agree, but so many of our ideas align, and there are so many more areas of harmony than there are dissonance.
You can dress it up in all the musical terms you like, Maud, but as my mother used to say, you can put lipstick on a pig, but he's still a pig.
Oh, more lemon water, General.
My Archie, it was love at first sight, it was, no mistake. I caught sight of him at church, I did, and that was that. We were smitten. My Archie was a good man, but he was troubled over the years, took it to heart. He thought the cure was at the bottom of a bottle. It was the flash of lightning, Jim, what did it for him. The first 2 glasses brought a smile to his face. And then another. And then another. And before you know it, he's looking at the bottom of that same bottle. And there's nothing there but the stamp of the crown and the same bleeding sadness, only 10 times worse. Oh. You'd think I'd escaped the evils of drink and die popped off. But I married him. My Archie couldn't get up for work in the morning. No amount of shouting or shaking would raise him. If Mrs. Hyde hadn't stepped in when she did to help, I don't know what would have become of me. I buried Archie on the Sunday and started working here on the Monday. In my morning clothes for a year I was. But this house already knew death after the first Mrs. Hyde died in childbirth, taking her baby with her. My mother always said, you can't stop bad things happening to good people, but when you've got good people around you, you're already blessed.
Now, General, is it true that many a good wine cellar has been destroyed in fine houses when they've signed up to your movement?
Well, I don't hold with violence as a rule, but once the rapture of the Lord takes hold, then some of the lower ranks have been known to lose control. Mind you, it's always done under the auspices of the master of the house. He leads the way, so to speak.
Well, I shall not be leading any way down to our cellar, General. I have banned the household from visiting the fair, and only my wife and I partake of the cellar. Our guests, of course, do, if so inclined.
Well, if that's by way of being an invitation, Mr. Hyde, I'm afraid you just haven't been listening.
Forgive me, goodness no, I have indeed been listening. We have staff who have been deeply affected by the demon drink, and know only too well its destructive powers.
Gird your loins, Mrs. Hyde. Gird your loins. I think Mr. Hyde here will be leading his own army in Barnet one day.
That could take some girding. After dinner, in the drawing room, our daughter Elizabeth will play a piano piece for us. She's been practicing a new piece by Antonin Dvorak. It's rather tricky, but I think she's mastered it.
Dvorak? Russian?
No, he's Czech, from Bohemia. He weaves Slavonian folk music into his compositions. It's really rather lovely.
Bohemian music. Temperance. It's not a bad idea, is it? Something has to be done. And whatever laws get passed about the drinking law, well, they've got to be the right ones. I'm just a woman. I don't get to put my vote in the ballot box. But if I had the vote, they'd listen to me then.
Stop. Miss Lizzie snuck out again. She didn't be told, and I don't want to get the blame. She begged me not to tell. But Mrs. Hyde requested her presence and wants her to play the piano for the booths. What shall I say?
Leave it with me, Etta. Lizzie Hyde. That's one headstrong young lady. Now the quiet word, man.
Oh.
Those
Moore and his rendition of William Shakespeare's Romeo.
But soft, what light from yonder window breaks? It is the east and Juliet the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief, that thou her maid art far more fair than she. Be not her maid, for she is envious. Her vestal liveries are but sick and green, and none but fools do wear them. Cast off. It is my lady, or it is my love. Oh, that she knew she were. She speaks, yet says nothing. What of that? Her eye discourses, I will answer it. I am too bold. 'Tis not to me she speaks, to the fairest stars in all the heavens. Having some business, don't entreat her eyes to twinkle in their spheres till they return. What if her eyes were there, they in her head? The brightness of her cheeks would shame those same stars. As daylight at the lamp, her eye would through the airy region stream so bright, that the birds would sing and think it were at night. See how she leans her cheek upon her hand. Oh, that I were a glove upon that hand, that I might touch that cheek.
I mean,
She speaks, speak again, bright angel.
oh Romeo, Romeo.
Great poor Martha, Romeo!
Can I hear more? Shall I speak of this?
Excuse me, sorry sir, make way for Romeo's old bucker, Jack!
Well now, a big round of applause for Jack Moore and his mystery. A little refreshment, and now Jim will be round with the ales. Jim? Jim? You know, do I have to do? Oh, Marley, get your lads over here. I need help with the ales.
From the heart of the fair to the outskirts of Maze Lane, the cattle, horse sellers and travelling folk, Roma and Sinti, have attended the fair since when it began in 1588, when Elizabeth I issued her royal charter. By the 1880s, their numbers were prolific, despite those purges and pogroms across Northern Europe. That same nationalism that fueled the Nazi genocide of World War II. But those horrors were yet to come. Let us now focus on Clementina Florey Luttridge and the ancient art of palm reading. Many years ago, as these two star-crossed lovers were their palms read by this wizard or witch. And as Charlotte had predicted, Tom Sayers would eventually return to Clem's wagon once again, yearning for his long-lost love.
Clem, me old darling, there's she cutting. Do you know your old Georgie?
Oh, bloody hell, you've aged a couple of lives, Tom Sayers. Hey, the Yankees knock all the good looks out of you.
Ah, they tried, Clem, darling, they tried. Buy it back, harder.
America, eh? Oh, have you seen the prairies, Tom? Oh, I would love to roam the prairies. Oh, I've seen all the stories and heard all about it with the penny dreadful. You know, I've always fancied myself riding shotgun with a well-stocked Vardo. And just the moon and the stars at night for company.
It's all true, Clem. The night skies were like blankets of diamonds. We have nothing to compare. As cold as the Oberveld in the evenings and like a furnace during the day. The worst was the winter in Wyoming. That first winter, I spent winning all my matches along the new railroad towns. I still lived hand to mouth like. I thought that Christmas would be my last. Even my eyelids froze together. They had beasts there, Clem, that'd fill a butcher's block for a month. Great, black, hairy beasts, like longhorns, wearing 6 coats.
I know you, Tom says. You haven't come here to talk to me about buffaloes. I've heard all about you. You're a big noise these days, got a boxing ring in your own name, and newspapers full of all your stories about the adventures in the Wild West.
I'm back, Clem. I'll be running matches here again. I have them all signed up. I've just got to get a few things sorted.
Yes, such as?
I'm back together, Clem. I have the money, the name. Whatever situation she finds herself in, I will make her mine again. You saw it, Clem. You read our palms and the crystals. You said we'd be together until I took me last breath. You said.
Oh, Tom carried. She's beaten you to it. She's gone. The cholera took her last summer during the doldrums. Oh, dreadful it was. We lost many a poor soul.
Gone? She can't have. I would know. I would feel it. Look at me, Claire. You're lying. I don't know why you're lying to me, but you are. You saw it. Here!
Oh, look, Tommy, the readings, they're not the whole picture. Look, when you left, yes, she did. She visited me every fair, hoping like she would see you. But when she realised you were long gone, well, like any young girl, she looked elsewhere. And she had a comfortable life and she was happy. Until the cholera took her. and she was taken too young and she was beautiful.
You're lying, Clem. I don't know why you'd lie to me, but you are.
Tommy, love, come and sit here with me and have a drink. Tommy, you can't go like this. Look, my husband's coming home soon and he will want to hear your stories about the Wild West. And we've got a lamb stew in the pot. Oh, Tommy, lad, don't go like this. You need to rest. Oh, bloody hell. A grown man, a fine reputation, money in the bank and 9 lives. But he's still hankering after his first bloody love.
It's hopeless. She's disappeared. It's too bleeding busy now. Come on, Jack. She's bound to turn up again. Mom's gonna have my guts for garters because I didn't do the else tonight, did I? I've still got the ticket money on me.
She must be around here. She comes every night and runs off after my Romeo. She answered me, Jim. Did you hear her? Juliet only bloody answered me.
What's the commotion, lads? Have you lost someone special? May I be of service? Now, for whom are we looking?
Sorry, we don't need your help, mister. Shove off.
Oh, dearie me. Who's got the morgues this fine evening? Now, Albert Pierce, at your services, working on behalf of the Great Eastern, that most majestic of ships, which is currently waiting to set sail from Bristol to Boston, New England. As luck would have it, we're looking for some healthy young lads to fill a variety of positions on board in return for an almost entirely free passage to America, a land of opportunity.
We're not interested, mister. Shove off.
I've read about the Great Eastern. One of the largest steamships there is.
How gratifying to have found an expert on shipbuilding at Barnet Fair, no less.
What's the catch?
there's no catch, lad. But I can see you're very suspicious. I'm like your knowledgeable companion. Now, I should like to buy you a schooner of laughing water and tell you all about the Great Eastern, Isambard Kingdom Brunel's last and most magnificent ship. You know, it wasn't that long ago that lads looking like you were sent across to the Americas in chains. Crikey! Who would have thought? Here we are, discussing a position on board the Great Eastern. Now, that's what I call progress.
What kind of position?
Oh, all sorts. Can you read, lad?
Of course I can. I do all the Pleasure Palace signs, and I help Jack with the Shakespeare.
Ah, the bard. Well, there's always need for a bit of culture on board. You will need a couple of shilling for the deposit, but we can sort all that out later. First, I need to take down your particulars. Now, I'm lodging at a nifty little local called the Mitre. We'll take a table there. I'll paint you a picture of the genteel city of Boston, Massachusetts.
Sorry, sir. I really am interested, but I need to take something back to the Pleasure Palace first. I can visit you tomorrow morning, though. Or you could come meet Ma. She runs the palace, isn't she?
Well, that would be tickety-boo, but sadly I'm due back on board the Great Eastern this time tomorrow evening. I have my ticket for Paddington Station, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. What a pity. I was so looking forward to offering you the opportunity of a lifetime. Still, you reckon to be back here next year, lad?
Wait. Give me a moment, mister. Jack, I just want to hear what he has to say. Nothing more. This is fate, right? Just like you and your Juliet. What was that line Ma said about horses?
Non gli accudentescens supere Latin.
What's that Latin word, Jack?
Never inspect the teeth of a given horse. But I don't think she'd believe a word he has to.
See you later, and don't worry, Jack. She'll turn up again.
Jim, come on, you cannot be serious. It's too good to be true. Wait, what shall I tell Mom?
Tell her... nothing. I'll tell her myself.
About the Apache raids, just the shooting. Men forgot what their two bleeding fists were for and took the coward's way out with the pistol, rifle, shotgun. The railway sheriff had a bloody cannon.
Well, it's the land of the pistol, that's for sure, eh?
Yeah, but Tom, are the Yankee women more beautiful than the Barnet Bells?
Nymphs the prairie, soiled doves they were, and not a patch on the Barnet Bells, darling. The railway company ferried the Dollymots in New York Buffalo, so the men weren't lonely on a Saturday night. I heard every language under the sun in that small patch of muddy air. I saw every variety of scoundrels, their sinfulness displayed to perfection.
That's a good then, Tommy.
I've got business to attend to here. I've got plans. California is one of them. But right now, darling, I just want you to build me up. I'll return the favour later on.
Surely a few more shillings, if you're buying for this lot.
Get another out, Tom. That California gold must be weighing you down.
Gold that's way down, don't say it tonight. I think it's a bit of sad news and just needs a bit of
No, I won't say anything to anyone, I promise.
She's a fine young girl, but she shouldn't be out here on her own at night. You take her home, lad. We'll look after Tommy here.
Lottie! Oh, come on, lot! Someone get off, you bastards!
Oi! Oi! What about that sofa you owe me? Oh, they all think they're God's gift. Just because of all his Wild West nonsense, just because he's been to America. America sounds like an awful place. Not like Barnet. And it won't amount to much, I reckon.
Oh, shut up, George Washington. Can't you see when a man's sickness or something?
And so, the fair becomes a place of the lost and found. Tom Sayers unwittingly mistakes his own daughter for his long-lost love, unbeknownst to such a swap, and Jack becomes enamoured. Dame Fortune keeps rolling their dice. Some roll high, whilst others must roll low.
We give her too much freedom, and now she's as strong-headed and as willful
as you were. We both agree that sparing the rod doesn't spoil the child. Think on how my poor niece is beaten for the slightest misdemeanour, and what a miserable child she is, whereas Lizzie warms the heart of all who meet her.
Oh, all she had to do was give one piano recital for the booths, and then the evening was hers. We hurried them out of the house like it was on fire. What must they think of us?
Oh, you spend far too much time worrying about what others think of you. The General was falling asleep on his 2 feet. He delivered 5 sermons today, and was only too delighted when I said we had urgent business to attend to.
Maud Booth was so sulky about bohemian music. Oh, Lizzie knows the fair is forbidden. The whole household knows. I'm so cross with her.
Oh, Charlotte, you're frightened, not cross. Etta said she's been slipping out most nights, so it's clear she can handle herself at the fair. She's probably meeting up with friends. We should send a note to the parents of Lizzie's close friends. Does she still see the Forsyth girl in Headley?
No, Edward, please don't do that. I don't want to set tongues wagging. You know what they'll say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Is that what you're worried about? History repeating itself? I won't send any notes. Nellie and Etta have no doubt found her already. All will be making their way home in time for a good telling off. I shall put on my sternest, most disappointed father look. Nellie will make us all hot chocolate, and then a cautionary bedtime tale from her mother about fairgrounds.
Oh, Edward Hyde, you are 1 in a million. You are quite right, of course. But the Saturday night crowd is always the largest. It will take some effort to find her. I think she'll be drawn to the pleasure tents. There are at least 3 of them. Thank goodness boxing rings are closed at 5 o'clock.
Ah, so now we come to the truth. Who are you really worried about, Charlotte? Lizzie or yourself?
Edward, no, please don't do this now. Not after all this time, please. Just help me find Lizzie, our Lizzie, and then after.
Kitty, we're off to fetch Miss Elizabeth. You are not to answer the door to anyone other than members of this household.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Pleasure Palace is proud to present London's very own songbird, Marie Lloyd.
I'm a young girl and I've just come over from the country where they do things big. And amongst the boys I've got myself a lover, and since I've got a lover, well, I don't care.
because she found me and Jack up in the moors up north, sheltering under a wagon. Only little we were, but she kept up the tradition of Mr. Fortunato, helping out those in dire need.
How very touching. No one is useless in this world who lightens the burdens of others. Charles Dickens wrote that gin. And now, I would like to lighten your burden.
Now if I were a duchess and I had a lot of money, I'd give it to the boy that's gonna marry me. But I haven't got a penny, so I'll live on love and kisses and be just as happy as a bird in a tree. The boy I love is up in the gallery. The boy I love is looking at me. There he is, can't you see, waving his handkerchief, as merry as a robin that sings on a tree. There he is, can't you see, waving his handkerchief, as merry as a robin that sings on a tree.
Stand back! Stand back! It's Tom saying you kill a man with a strong punch!
He ain't killing anyone except himself, poor bugger.
Tommy, Tom, it's me. What's the matter? Oh, wait, Edward, wait, please get some help, please. He's failing fast.
Mother? Father, what are you both doing here? I saw that man earlier. He thought I looked like someone else. He thought I was you.
Oh, Edward, please.
No, Lizzie, stay with your mother. I must get him some help.
What on earth's going on here? Sorry, Mom. I was on my way back to the palace when this happened. Jim was meeting with a fellow who stayed with Malta. What? Who offered him a position on board a big ship that's heading to America.
Position, eh? I'll give him position, all right.
The mighty, you said?
Right, it won't be long. You stay here with your Juliet.
Aye, not another one for the morgue. Must be a full moon.
Really? How do you mean?
I heard some of the peelers talking about nasty business down the bottom of the hill. Young lad, stabbed in the back, left to bleed out like a beast he was.
Fuck it, who was he?
No idea. Fairground bloke. Empty pockets, though, no way.
No, he wasn't famous. Not like him. Famous Tom Sawyer, the boxer. That'll be all over the blabber sheets tomorrow morning.
Well, fame is a fickle food upon a shifting plate.
Get you, Pineapple Jack, quoting Emily Dickinson.
Get you, Black Walpole, for the appreciation.
Lottie, lots. I've made it big. I've come back for you.
What should I do?
Just take his hand, darling. It's all he needs now.
I bought a plot of land in California, near a little town called Santa Monica. Beautiful woods and sunsets. They make moving pictures, dance in front of you.
Oh, no!
The little wonder went 12-1, with fights up to 100 rounds, all above his weight class. And yet, The killer of Tom Sayers had no fists at all. His home in the Hollywood Hills would go abandoned for years. Clumps of deer grass sprawled across the lower floor. Green tendrils blocking out the sun. Hummingbird sage queued before the porch. Pink petals waving goodbye. And after all, the ceiling fell, along with every wall.
I've got some thanks to give. My name's Siobhan, by the way. It would be great if we just clap once at the end, otherwise you'll never get to the mitre in time. So we'll just start with, I just want to say thank you so much to this amazing, wonderful company. To Claire, Bridget and Tony for your wonderful scripts, contributions,
to Cos, this amazing set designer. We are so lucky that we have this local artist who built the set with 100% recyclable materials. If anyone wants a cart, it is going on Saturday evening. Yeah? Well, it's not there. Linda Foster, she was a good friend of mine and she helped choreograph the opening scene, choreographer from Function of X. Joe Collins, who I think is in the audience tonight, the joint fan of Chicken Shed. Are you here, Joe?
Yep.
Marvellous. So Joe actually wrote the music for the opening song. All the other songs are traditional English and Irish folk songs, but Joe wrote the music for us for the opening song and a bit of, you heard at the end there. Thank you, Joe. Ned and Helen, professional local musicians who've joined us. Absolutely brilliant. Dave and Vince, the tech support. Susie Earnshaw, she's the root and branch support of us, Blue Theatre Company. And, you know, Susie lets us rehearse in this space. We work here, we produce about 2 shows a year. That will come on to you in a minute, and how you can get involved. Nick Godwin, musical director of this evening, and my partner in crime. And you, the audience. You know, we know that we're really privileged to make theatre. We are very lucky today to be able to put on a show for you. There are people around the world right now that the circumstances are such, doing something like this is just impossible. And so we take that privilege seriously, but we also have a bloody good time. And we want to recruit more people to join us. On stage, backstage, writing, music, props. We're growing, and that's wonderful, but we also want you to come and see what we do. Support your local theatres. If you don't live in High Barnet or local, and you've come a distance to see us, thank you. When you go home, support your local creative arts. Support anything that's happening locally, because local action is what is, it's kind of the glue that keeps a society together, and I think we all need a bit more cohesiveness, let's not say glue, but you know what I mean, we all need something that makes us feel collectively that we're having a shared experience. So the programmes, profit is going to Amnesty International, our chosen charity. Please buy one, they're beautiful. Nick designed them, and there's words at the back and some lovely information in the programme about who we are, what we do. And come and see us again. Thank you so much. We've really enjoyed performing to you, and we've only got to do it another 3 times. Thank you very much.